This is the Death Row and Executions channel. Here is your host, Paco Rivera.
Welcome back to the Death Row and Executions channel. I'm Paco Rivera. You can also follow me on Facebook for updates and more Death Row news. There will be a link to my Facebook in the description below. Also, a reminder that between executions, if you're interested in other true crime stories, I'd like to invite you to have a look at my other channel here on YouTube called The Maximum Sentence. I will also leave a link for that channel. In the year 2002, Michael Smith was 19 years old, and he was a gang member of the Oak Grove Posse, a subdivision of the Crips gang that operates in Oklahoma City. According to prosecutors, Smith was seeking revenge for the death of a fellow gang member and the arrests of two other gang members. Before the crimes for which Michael Smith was sentenced to death, we first need to go back to November of the year 2000. A gang member named Teron Armstrong and two other members of the gang attempted to rob Trans Food Mart in Oklahoma City. The store owner shot and killed Teron Armstrong during the robbery. The other two men fled from the scene. Michael Smith was not involved in that robbery, but he had close personal ties, a close connection to the gang member that was killed. The two other gang members involved in the robbery were later captured, and their case was set to go to trial 14 months later, 14 months after the crime occurred, in February of the year 2002. 2 days before that trial, Michael Smith, armed with a .357 revolver, went to the apartment of a woman named Janet Moore at about 6:30 in the morning, believing that Janet Moore's son was an informant who had ratted out or snitched on his fellow gang members. Smith kicked in the door to Janet Moore's home, and when she began screaming, he shot her to death. Before leaving, he wiped down the apartment to eliminate his fingerprints. Later that same day, Michael Smith went to the AZ Mart, a convenience store located right beside the Trans Food Mart that was robbed 14 months earlier. Smith shot and killed the store clerk, Mr. Sharath Pulluru. He then took money from the register and used lighter fluid that he got from the store to set fires around the store where he had touched anything. He also set fire to Sharath Pulluru's body. Afterward, he disposed of the clothing he had worn during the murders. Detectives at the convenience store observed shoe prints that appeared the same as shoe prints seen at the home of Janet Moore earlier that morning, and one investigator suspected that it might have been the same killer. A few hours later, Michael Smith went to visit the home of a woman named Sheena Johnson. He told her that he killed a woman because her son had been snitching and that he got revenge for his family. By family, he was obviously referring to his fellow gang members, by killing the clerk at a convenience store. Some days later, Sheena Johnson notified police about what Michael Smith had told her. By that time, Smith was locked up in jail after being picked up and arrested for another matter. Detectives then interviewed Smith, an interview that was video recorded. At first, he denied everything, but later confessed, saying that he went to the home of Janet Moore, but that he had no intention of killing her. He wanted to kill her son, but when she began screaming, he panicked and shot her, and that the murder of the convenience store clerk was in retaliation for the death of a gang member that was killed by a store clerk owner next door, which makes absolutely no sense because it wasn't even the same store. In court, evidence was presented in defense of Michael Smith that he was heavily addicted to the hallucinogenic drug PCP and was under the influence of PCP when he committed the murders. Michael Dewayne Smith is scheduled to be put to death by the state of Oklahoma on April 4th. In a post that I found on Twitter, a man saying that he was Smith's brother tweeted a reply to Kim Kardashian, who currently has 75 million followers. He posted a reply to Kim Kardashian's post about a trip with her daughters. My brother, Michael Dewayne Smith, is on death row since 2002. He was a kid when he got sentenced to death in Oklahoma. Is there any way you can help him and my family? He was on PCP at the time the case was brought on him. Please help us. I'm not so sure Kim Kardashian is really keeping up with what's going on death row. Last month, she posted the wrong picture of Ivan Cantu on her Twitter, trying to stop his execution in Texas. And the New York City man whose picture she used was not happy about it. She has since taken it down and replaced her post with an old blurry picture of Ivan Cantu, who was executed anyway last month. I posted updates about that execution on my Facebook if you want to have a look. We haven't heard from Kim Kardashian on this case regarding Michael Dewayne Smith. So it's safe to say that out of her 75 million followers, she probably didn't sort through all her replies to her family vacation photos to see Smith's brother's post. Who knows? Maybe Kim Kardashian will see this video and get involved in this case. And let's see whose picture she ends up posting on her social media account. Michael Smith is scheduled for a clemency hearing on March 6th. At the time that this video is being made, that date hasn't arrived yet. But I will post an update on the clemency hearing on my Facebook. Oklahoma Attorney General Gentner Drummond requested that the Pardon and Parole Board deny clemency for him. Meanwhile, last month, the Oklahoma House Committee passed a bill to put a moratorium, a halt, to all executions in that state. The bill would have to be signed by the staunch pro-death penalty Governor Kevin Stitt, and many believe it is unlikely that he will sign the bill. Please remember to subscribe for more death row and upcoming execution stories. You can also follow me on Facebook for updates. There will be a link to my Facebook in the description below. I'm Paco Rivera. Take care and bye for now.